Welcome to the Survive Scale Soar podcast. Hear and learn through the success of others how to build the life and business you deserve. Learn to overcome failure, what it means to seek out growth, and how to become the best possible version of yourself. And now, here's your host, coach, entrepreneur, husband and father, and author of the #1 best-selling book, Survive Scale Soar, Jeremy Williams.
And welcome back to the Survive Scale Soar podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and today is a real talk. The Survive Scale Soar podcast has two formats. One is real talks, where I take observations and experiences that are taking place out in the world, and I share my thoughts and opinions on them. And then we have success talks, where I get to interview some amazing people, business owners that are doing some great things, and they share with the audience what has made them successful. Today's real talk, though, is about a topic it's important to me, and I think it's one that's easily confused by people, and that is the topic of faith. For those that are listening to this, you probably know that I am a person of faith. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I've declared him that since my senior year in high school. I remember at an FCA event where we went to, as a group, over to Southwest Texas State University at the time, now Texas State, and went to a crosstalk event with a guy named Scott Crenshaw that was leading it at the time. And after that event, declared Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And faith has been a center point of my business. And I know there's a lot of people out there, it's the same, they feel the same way. They've made that same decision. And what it's done for me is it's allowed me to be grounded in times that are difficult. Every business, even this coaching business, has had its ups and downs. There are challenges that I face. Most of the time I don't talk about it because I choose to share my wins over my losses, because that's where I need to be focused and grounded, is in what is the next step to keep going and winning. But it allows me to remain grounded. And in times of leadership opportunities over the years that I've served in, faith was a big component of that. When maybe I was at a disagreement with another leader, where I was put into situations that were not very Christ-like situations. When I was in sales, again, that up and that down, and knowing, wondering when the next paycheck was going to come, having the faith that in God's perfect timing, that would happen, especially my first year into my second year of real estate. And so faith has been a big component of that. And for those that are listening today, I've heard this a lot of times over the years. I've done thousands of hours of coaching and training, and this has been said several times, is that, I just know I need to have more faith in my business. Things will come. Yet I look at the activities, so I hear them saying that. So that's their audio, right? They're saying, I have faith that this is going to work out. But then I look at the video. What are they actually doing? What are the actions that they're taking in their business? And when the actions don't align with the outcome that they're really wanting, then I think they're going to question their faith at some point, or question, God, why are you not here? Where are you? I'm asking for your help. And, God, I think, is sitting up there saying, you've got to take action. I've given this to you. I've given this, and I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to walk beside you. I'm going to be here in your ups and downs. Yet you've got to take the action. You have to put the work into the business that it requires. And so it could be easily confused that, somebody that's even really strong in their faith says that by faith, I'm going to grow my business. I know God's going to help me in this. They haven't chosen to do their part. And So I encourage you today, if you're claiming that, which I encourage you to do, put your business at his feet, and great things will happen. But if you're not experiencing results, if you're banging your head against the wall, if you're crying out to God, I want you to ask yourself, have you been faithful on your end? Have you done your part? Have you gone and made your phone calls? Have you talked to individuals, right? Have you gone out and helped others, right? That's where the blessings come in. Now, there's a second part to this. And I hear this a lot. Jeremy, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything. I have faith that this is going to work out. I've put it into God's hands. And it's just not showing up. It's just not panning out. I want you to consider this. Is it based on your timing, or is it based on his perfect timing? And so I can give you several examples that in my past, in my professional career, where it wasn't my timing, it was his. And one was when I first started, almost went broke. I didn't prepare myself when I went into the business initially. I literally made the decision one day that I'm going to be a real estate agent. And like 2 months later, after I took my courses and tests, I was newly married. We did have a house, so we had finances that we had to make sure that we were covering. And I went from having a fairly decent job out of college to everything was 100% on the efforts that I made. And very early on, I had to sell my first guitar that I ever owned. And it was a very hard thing for me to do. It was to make and pay for an office bill, which was only a little over a couple $100. I think, if I can remember, it was like $217 or something like that. That total. I had my office bill, I had some copies and some other things. It was like a couple $100. So not a lot of money to me at that time. And I was struggling. I was doing the work. I was putting in the work every day. The results just weren't coming quick enough. And so I made the decision to go pawn this guitar that I had. Now, when I got to the pawn shop, when I gave them the guitar, it was one of the hardest days of my life. But when they came back and they told me how much they were willing to give me, it was the exact amount that I needed to pay for my office bill that month. And so I knew it was God saying, hey, it's not in your timing. I'm going to take care of you. Continue to be faithful in what you do. I'll take care of it in my time. Just keep going. And the awesome part about that story is I did build up my business, and I got it to a place where it was successful. And I went and bought my dream guitar. It was just after my daughter Emma was born. It was a $3,000 Taylor guitar that I'd been sitting there looking at for so long. And I was able to do that and accomplish that. And it was not in my timing, but it was in his. And I was blessed because I kept putting in the work. And so I encourage you today, if you're struggling with that but you're putting in the work and you're putting it at his feet, he's going to take care of you. He's going to take care of you. And that's faith. His timing, his perfect timing, and not yours. So I know this is a conversation that's not talked a lot about in the business world. There's probably people out there that don't have the same beliefs that I may have. But I think it's an important conversation. And I think it's one that especially as a believer, maybe coaching with other believers, or you might not have coached with me, to hear that message, it's an important one because we don't talk about it. And we should be talking more about it. So have faith. Make sure you're putting in the work and know that it's going to be in his perfect timing that everything will be taken care of. So I hope this message encourages you today. I hope it gets you motivated. I hope it gets you doing the things that you know you should be doing that you've been putting off, and that you'll go out and finish this year strong. And you're going to start 2023 just going after all your goals. So until next time, onward and upward.
Thank you for listening to the Survive, Scale, Soar podcast. If you heard something that made a difference in your life today, share it with someone that might benefit, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Learn more about the host of this podcast and coaching services offered by Red Hawk Coaching by visiting www.redhawkcoaching.com.